again coming in today with the Treaty Principles Act that's got 21 days left now to be passed in Parliament. I did do the Treaty Principles Part 1, and now I'm doing Treaty Principles Part 2. Let's all just remember that, a lot of you just really have no idea if you're from the UK, if you're from England, if you're from Scotland, if you're from Ireland, if you're from Australia, well, South Australia, if you're from South Australia, if you're from Tasmania. This Treaty Principles is going to, even if you're anywhere in Europe, in fact, any Europeans, and this Treaty Principles Act is going to affect every single one of you for all times to come. What they're doing is they're removing all of the agreements that we all had when they stuck us on those white slave ships and sent all our native people, natives of Ireland, natives of England, natives of Germany, natives of France, natives of Scotland, they shipped them all out to all parts of the world with promises that they would be protected under the Bill of Rights 1688 for all times to come. Now that was unfortunately removed, but we can get it back. But this Treaty Principles Bill is the mother of all bills to remove that right from us. Now, we've got a long fight ahead of us, people. There's a lot of things that I know that I'm not able to make the videos to let you know, but we're on this Treaty Principles now. If you are over in England, or you're in the UK, or if you're anywhere in the world, if you have ancestors that were sent out on these white slave ships, this Treaty Principle Bill is talking about you, and you need to come in here and fight like hell. Update the record of your family, update the record of your ship that they came on, update the record of the port that they went to, and let them know that you've not been part of these proceedings that have been secretly done over the last 180 years. These proceedings have all been secret. They have been passed down generation after generation. But anyway, let's get started. We've only got a short amount of time. Just give acknowledgement to my father, John Leslie Sixtus, and to our German fighter pilot who fought on the bloody Red Baron. His name is Baron Manfred von Richthofen. So we all want to pay tribute to him, who fought very hard for his country. And so I'm going to recognise him. We've not been allowed to talk about him for decades, but it's about time we raised up our war heroes. That's about time that we did that. Now, I'll show you the Treaty Principles Bill. Let's see now. I'll show you the Treaty Principles Bill. So you just put in Parliament Bill. I don't like to make these too long, if I can help it. Make sure you put NZ, New Zealand, and then you can go down here to the Bills of Government. I think that's it, is it? No, I've got the wrong one. Let's go to Bills in Parliament, and that will take you to your bills in Parliament here, right? And right, I hope I'm on record. I'll write the sound. I don't want it to have too loud. All right, so you then go to make sure that you've got the bill's proposed laws. Don't be getting the proposed members' bills. Proposed members' bills and proposed laws are not the same. All right, so then you can go down to Section 3, and on Section 3 you'll see Principles of the Treaty of Waitangi. Now, what I'm going to be telling you is that presently there are no principles. if this bill passes, there will be principles, and those principles are not are full of all of the secret legislation that they've done. This treaty principles is in hundreds and hundreds upon hundreds of pieces of legislation and Waitangi Tribunal land settlements, and you're going to lose all of your rights. So the treaty principle, I better be careful because I don't want to be accused of spreading false information. False information. I'm not wanting to be accused of that, right? So we can go to the treaty principles bill. As you see, there are 21 days left. Only 21 days left. It finishes on the 7th of January. Now, the 7th of January is a very important date because January in 1901, January, Queen Victoria died, and it's at that time that they did a sneaky little thing and removed our Bill of Rights 1688 and our subject status from all of us. Now, we were promised that subject status for all times to come, and the rotten buggers have removed it from us, but there's no reason why we can't get it back. But if this goes through, I don't think we'll be able to get it back. Now let's go to read the bill, and that goes to the principles of this. So if you're worried about these principles, there are no principles in law now. But if this bill passes, then there will be principles, and those principles can change like the weather. There's nothing you can do about it. So the best thing to do, and it's no good saying that you're not going to not going to put in your advices in there, because if you don't do that, there are thousands upon thousands of people who are going to be putting in favour of this, and then they will bypass you and it will get passed whether you like it or not. Now, I've already did the principles 1, and so today we're going to be doing the principles 2. So, this is the principles. So this is called the principles this is called the Principles of the Treaty of Waitangi as set out in Section 6 must be used to interpret an enactment if principles of the Treaty of Waitangi are relevant to interpreting that enactment, whether by express references or whether by implication. Now, one of the important things that you'll notice here is that they're talking about Treaty of Waitangi. They're talking about the actual Treaty of Waitangi. Now, as you know, they changed that like the weather. They have this thing called Te Tiriti o Waitangi, which is not the same. And so their skullduggery knows no bounds. Seriously, they are flipping from word to word, and they're using, when they speak about particular words, they're speaking about something that you don't know about. And it's a very sneaky thing. So in this particular case, they have to use the Treaty of Waitangi because that's the English one is only one that is valid, but that's not what I was looking for anyway. So here are the principles of Section 6 that they want you to uphold. And we're doing the principles of the treaty. Principle 1, which we already did yesterday. Today we're doing Principle 2. Principle 2 says that. Now, here's the sneaky. Principle 2 recognises and will respect and protect the rights that hapu, which means their families, and iwi, that means their tribal chiefs, Maori, are under the Treaty of Waitangi Te Tiriti o Waitangi. Now, when you see different legislation, when they put Treaty of Waitangi first in English, that means that they're needing to do something in the correct constitutional laws. When they put Te Tiriti o Waitangi, they can manoeuvre around according to the will of their families and their tribal leaders. And so you've got to be very careful of the sneaky little things that they get up to. Then it says, here's the danger. If those rights differ from the rights of everyone, subclause 1, subclause 1 applies only if those rights are agreed in the settlement of a historical treaty claim under the Treaty of Waitangi Act 1975. Now, here's another bit of skullduggery that we're not going to do. I have done a video. I'll just check the time because I want to keep this short. I have done a video on the various Waitangi Acts, but the actual original Waitangi Act of 1975, according to the Bills of Exchange, if there's any ambiguity in the interpretation of a secondary act or an amended act, then the very first act or constitution or right will apply. So I'm here to tell you that the original Treaty of Waitangi Act, which is not Te Tiriti, nothing to do with Te Tiriti, that act is very different from the Te Tiriti and the Treaty of Waitangi Act of 2022. Now, I'm not doing that today because we're only doing Principle 2, but I'll be able to give you a little bit of insight into that as best I can. If you're savvy, you'll be able to go and look it all up yourself. So now it says, if those rights differ from the rights of everyone, but only if those rights are agreed in a settlement of an historical claim. Now, there are hundreds of these claims. And here's the reason why they want you to sign up to this, because as you'll see later, at the time that they did this, they did not include the rightful descendants, families, and heads of they call them Pākehā, of the people that came on the original ships pre-18, I would go so far as pre-1852 and possibly, maybe not, but possibly up to 1858. I'm still sorting that out. But I will show you in moments how they took it upon themselves to deny all of us white people access to the court. Now, when you've got two peoples, now they said that the Crown were acting on behalf of us Pākehā, but the Maoris were allowed to go in their individual families and individual tribal leaders. And when any Anglo people attempted to enter the Waitangi Tribunal, they were blocked because they said, you're not a Maori. Now, Andrew Little recently announced that the biggest mistake that they had made was not to let, they call us Pākehā, the biggest mistake that they had made was not to let the Pākehās come into the court. Now, that is a very important thing because that is being called denied access. And in the international laws, which are treaties, if any governing body denies access to any court, any tribunal, or any government entity, once they've denied you access, they have committed a violation under international law. And if there's another party, it's almost like imagine going to the court and you've got a person that goes in there and accuses somebody, and you have not allowed those people that were accused to go into the court and defend themselves, because we have the right to face our accusers. So you need two hands, because two hands will clap, 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 clap. But when you've only got one hand clapping, and that is the accuser, it's clapping on empty air. And so it basically means that all of their treaty settlements are actually under scrutiny, I would say, because they denied access to the Waitangi tribunal to the people that they were accusing. Now, the Crown, it's a bit of a long story, but the Crown only represented the Anglo people based on their cessation. That's another story. So they need this Treaty Principles Bill as a way to trick the Pākehā people of Australia, people of Ireland, England, Scotland. It's a way of tricking them to agree to these treaty settlements, because it's got here the historical treaty claims, because we had been denied access to the court. So I would say they're not valid. None of them are valid in law because of that reason. And I'm not a lawyer, but I'm just saying that that's how I feel. And so you can take that with a grain of salt if you want to. So I'm going to go to one of these deeds and show you. Right, there's the bill. I'm going to go. No, I'm not going to go to there. I'm going to go to the actual Waitangi Act, if I can find it in amongst my bunches of stuff here. So this here is the actual original 1975 Act, Section 6, where they said, this is not the 1975 Act. Where's my 1975 Act gone? Sometimes I get a bit mixed up in here. Well, I might have to get it again for you. All right, I will. All right, so here, all right, here it is. This is the original. Just block my face out here a bit. This is the original 1975 Act, and you'll see in here, as I told you yesterday, that this was for all of Her Majesty's subjects, and it was for those people that were going to emigrate. Now, there were only a few people and a few ships that were considered immigrants, because these were native people of their own lands. They were natives of Ireland, natives of Germany, natives of France, natives of England, and natives of Scotland, to my understanding. And they were from Europe, and they were also from Australia. And so this is the treaty that I'm just trying to say to you that you're included. Now, the original treaty, this is the original, they call it the 1975 114. This was done on the 10th of October, 1975. And if you go to Section 6, right, it was okay, because it said where any Maori claims that he or she, or he or any group of Maoris of which he or she is a member, or is likely to be prejudicially affected by any act, regulations, or order in council for the time being in force, or later on it says to be adopted, then they may make an application to the tribunal, all right? So I'll just show you this now. So then if you go to the, okay, I've got it now. So this is the new act. All right, I'll put them up side by side here. Actually, no need to see my beautiful face. All right, I'll put them up side by side. I'll try, oh, I keep getting the wrong things. Silly me. Right there. Right, so this is, I hope I can fit them. I'll make it a bit smaller. Just give me a minute, I'm no expert here. I don't think I've got enough room. All right, so this is the original, but this is the new one where this is 2022, where any Maori claims that he or she or any group of Maoris which he is a member is likely to be prejudicially affected. Now it changes by any ordinance of the General Legislative Council of New Zealand or any ordinance of the Provincial Legislative Council of New Munster or any provincial ordinance or any act, whether or not still enforced, passed at any time on or after the 6th of February 1840. So that is the huge difference, because they've added in the Legislative Council, which was in fact a Maori Legislative Council run by King Tawhio first, and then the succession of King Mahuta, right? So those two there differ, but let me tell you what doesn't differ. They were very sneaky. When they put in the original act, they did not include anything back to 1840. And then later, they changed it back to 1840. And what you all don't understand is that all of us are participants in the provincial ordinances that were made by the Legislative Council of New Munster. And I'll tell you about those ordinances later. That's not for today. But by the fact that they blocked our people, it's actually there are no Maori names on those ordinances. All those ordinances have got Pākehā names. And the fact that we were denied access to the Waitangi Tribunal once they inserted this means that it to me, it brings all of their claims into question. And what they're wanting is for us to sign off on those claims at the select committee there. So we I better get my things, all my ducks in a row here. So that is the trick of Section 2 of the principles, is to get the silly Pākehā to sign off on it. So I'm okay. I've gone off in a bit of it's quite complicated for some of you, but I think you can get the general idea. I mean, you're pretty smart. Anybody that follows Kate Floss is pretty smart. I do have some members that can't read, so I have to do it in a way that they can understand. Now, this is one of the hundreds of settlements. I'll just continue to revert back to the principal bill so that you know what we're talking about. So again, this is Principle 2. It says the Crown recognises and will respect and protect the rights that the families and the tribal leaders had under the Treaty of Waitangi at the time that they signed it. Well, Te Tiriti may well have been signed in 2022, or Te Tiriti was most likely signed at the time of each of their settlements. So Te Tiriti is not the same as our original Treaty of Waitangi English version, and I do have the proof of that. And now it says here, however, if those rights differ from the rights of everyone, meaning our Bill of Rights 1688, subclause 1 applies only if those rights have been previously agreed in a settlement of an historical claim. Now, these historical claims were done a very, very, very long time ago. Some of them were done way back in 1986. Some were done in 1990. All of the settlement chiefs were finished by 2008. And I believe that it's in 2007 that they changed Section 6 of the 1975 Waitangi Act. Hope you can all understand me. Have to do it slowly. Now, hear what it says, the settlement. And it says to constitute, is this page 17, mate? Yeah. So this is what it says about the settlement. Be careful, it says to constitute an acknowledgement that any other tribal leaders or group has interest in areas over which there is a relationship with redress or cultural redress. Now you'll see this flip that I was telling you about. They've flipped around and they've put Te Tiriti in the front. And they have put the Treaty of Waitangi at the back. And you'll see that the has got a small letter, which means that it's not the leader in this case. You'll see over here where you'll see that it's got the treaty. Well, they've not given it, they've just given Treaty of Waitangi, and they've got Te Tiriti with a small letter, and it's not the leader. There's your leader there because you know by the capital letter, right? But here you'll see that they've flipped it around. When they did these settlements, they made this one the leader, and it's not the same as the English version, right? And what it says here, and its principles. Now, this settlement here was done, to my understanding, it was done in November of 2003. And there were no principles in 2003. And if you do not all get on board and go in there and update your family history and update your families and put your families onto the record, all right? These principles are going to go through, and any historical claims that overlap your Pākehā claims, any historical that overlap them, that is going to be signed off by you in this bill. So it's got there and its principles. And then this, I'm going to post up this claim as an example. This is only, do not call me up or make quotes to me on this claim or anything like this. It's public knowledge. It has to be public knowledge. But there are dozens upon dozens upon dozens of these claims, and all of them are different. And that's why if you agree to this Treaty Principles Bill, then you are agreeing to all of those hundreds of claims, and you don't even know what's in them. So it's no good. Don't beat up the people in this claim, because they're just one of many. And this principles has been put through all of it, and they're going to respect the print. Now, if you go down to page 18, you'll see where it says again, accordingly, in order to enhance the ongoing relationship between the Raruru Kitiaiti KII and the Crown in terms of the Te Tiriti o Waitangi and Treaty of Waitangi and its principles. All right? What you're basically signing up to is that you agree with this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you. So the place that they mucked up, and as Andrew Little will tell you, they denied access of the Pākehā to the court, and they're seeking to remedy that now with a select committee hearing where you all get to go in there and say, yay, yay, we want rid of the treaty. I'm here to tell you why you don't want rid of the treaty. Now, if you go on, I'll just let you know that at the time of, my friend just sent me this morning, but I will tell you that at the time, before this treaty was signed, there were 3 native, full-blooded paramount chiefs who, well, they may not have been paramount chiefs. It really doesn't matter. They were made magistrates of the court, and they were made magistrates of the court by, I think it's by King George. King George III made the magistrates of the court. So anything that they agreed to with our ancestors, our Pākehā ancestors, it is fixed. It's fixed. And those 3 chiefs were Duatera, who actually changed his name, Shanghai, who also changed his name, and Korakora, who these 3 magistrates all changed their name. I believe they used one name as a magistrate, and they used different names for different things, and I believe these names have got meaning. So they were magistrates at the time, and then this was done in 1814. So in 1814, these 3 people were appointed magistrates of the native court. Following that, we had the thing called the Whakaputanka, which said that they would decide who was going to be allowed to govern in their land. And following that, what they did was they went and made an agreement with the Pākehā. These people here were not British subjects, and they were not British people, and the Crown plus those chiefs, the magistrate chiefs, Thomas Kendall was made a magistrate, and those 3, so there were 3, there must have been 5, there were 3 native paramount, native full-blooded magistrates, and Thomas Kendall was an English magistrate appointed, right? Then those people came to collect this bill, which is of 1838. Then they asked the Pākehā people to cede their lands and hereditaments and their agreements that they had with each of the individual chiefs. So we ceded first. Based on that, it says that no lands which shall be so ceded as last aforesaid shall be deemed or taken to be part of any British settlements. That means that these lands could not be anywhere that British had settled or anywhere that anybody, including natives, had already settled with Britain. They were outside of that, and they were not to be subject or to be subject to the laws or government thereof. So these were people that had, and these were mostly people in the south. These 4 magistrates were made magistrates in the Bay of Islands. But the people in the south had their agreements with other chiefs who had not yet joined together with the Bay of Islands chiefs. And I don't think they could actually, because they needed the cessation to occur. So until the sovereign rights of the native chiefs or inhabitants over such lands shall have been formally ceded by treaty in the manner directed by this act. Now, we're not going into all of this today, but what happens is we've got 4 magistrates in the Bay of Islands in the north, and then they have made their whakaputanka, and they've said that they will behave in a central government that was managed by their collective chiefs in agreements with the crowns. Now, I don't know if they did cede to Britain or not, but I do know that these people here, including the chiefs, there needed to be a cessation to Britain of both these Pākehā and these native chiefs, done by treaty, and that was based on that we would be governed, we could govern ourselves in a Protestant parliament under the Bill of Rights 1688, which gave us the right to govern ourselves without native chief or Maori chief interference in our taxes, in our lands, in our anything. So that was one of the rights that was given to us that they're trying to take away from us now. This, I believe, the treaty was a trick against the Pākehā, and as you'll see later, we did actually lose our subject status, but I dispute the loss of that subject status because I've got documents here that show that time after time after time, the Pākehā were denied access to the court. And any time that we are denied access to the court, then the accuser, who is not allowed the accused to defend themselves, then that court case is basically null and void. And that is why they want you, all of you, to sign off on this treaty principles bill. Now, I'll just finish up the class today with that is I can show it to you on here. You can go in there, you can put in, so I went in there and I updated the record. So I let them know that my ancestors were part of this original cessation, and I also put in Wirimu. This man's name is Takupotiki Wirimu Ratana, and this is this was done in 1932 after World War I, and this was done in the parliamentary this comes out of the Hansard of over in Westminster, and so you can go and read that anytime if you like. I've posted it up in Treaty Principles 1, so you can go and read it. So these are the documents that you can put in there. I don't want to do that. I myself have also put in documents so you can update your family record. I have put in my own documents. As I've already told yesterday, I have made my own declaration for my own area of land that my ancestors were on, and I have informed the select committee that I do not agree to any of their new. So I'm protected in here. I'm all protected. Now you can borrow from my new declaration if you want to, or you can write one of your own for your own family. Each family is particular according to the ship that you came on, according to the tribal chief that you had your agreement with, according to the port that you left and the port that you arrived. And so each one of you is not the same. We are not all equal, because each of us have got different hereditaments that we held with those native chiefs, and that is what they're trying to get rid of, is those hereditaments that we had that are not equal to other chiefs' hereditaments, and they're trying to get us under all one equal law, but they did not allow us to go to the court. And even the Jacinda Sixtus verse Adern, where I tried to go to the court to ask them for my 1688 Bill of Rights to be returned, they denied me access to the court. So, it's no good topping me off. You can top me off if you want. There's a lot of people been threatening me. So, okay, I'll just give you this. So this was my one here. You can read the 13 articles, and you can read. Now this is where we got ourselves into trouble, but that's another story. Let's stay focused on the treaty principles. So you can go in there at any time. You just go in there to, if you don't know how to do it, you can contact Kate Floss, and I will help you to do it, all right, for a fee, for a donation. It takes a long time, but I'll help you to do it. And some people, I do it for free. It depends how much they've contributed. If people have contributed, and if people share information with me and I share information with them, and they assist me in my cause, and they announce my cause, I do it for free for them. But if you want me to do it and bring up your family, I don't do that for free, because it takes many hours. Now, this will go to section 3, and you'll see there that you've got your treaty principles, right? And it's there that you can go and make a submission. There's 21 days left. That's going to be it for me today, Kate Floss. To any of those people, there's a lot of people that have been giving me threats, threatening to beat me up, threatening to beat me up, threatening to whop my head off, threatening to do all manner of dirty, disgusting things to me and my family. But I'm telling you something, all you Maoris out there, I'm telling you something. Unless you go back, unless you bring up the Pākehā from the individual ports and their agreements with the individual chiefs, until you do that, people will come after me. Another one will come. Another one will come. The sons of the sons of the sons of the sons will keep on coming until you let my people go. It is very clear. When they went out of Egypt, it was very clear that the gold and the silver that they had created from their labors was given to them, and then the Red Sea was parted, and God let them go through and close the gates behind them, and they were never heard from again. Now, this has been done time and time again. when the Catholic Church went into Germany, or when the Jews went into Germany, they had to allow the people to leave with their hereditaments that they arrived there with, and with their gold and silver that they had accumulated. You have to make amends. Now, if you don't make amends with me and you kill me or you damage me, the sons of the sons of the sons will come back. They'll see my videos. They'll see my records in the courts. They'll see my records. Kate Floss, Catherine Sextus, I am everywhere. I'm in the High Court. I'm in the Appeals Court. I'm in the Supreme Court with Jacinda Ardern, Christopher Foy, Ashley Bloomfield, and Ashley Bloomfield. I think Andrew Little's in there. I've called him 4 of them. They're all in there. I am in the Select Committee. I'm right up there at Parliament. I've got my submissions in. I've put in my Declaration of Independence outside of your declaration. You cannot hide me. So my sons and my sons and my sons will come back and back and back until you allow the Pākehā people access to the Waitangi Tribunal to remedy and set right what was done to them. When you stole their nativity, from them and denied them the right to ever return to their lands. And then the bastards went to war against our own people, and they locked all of my people up on Soames Island and another island and forced them to work hard labour and build the roads and hospitals and everything of New Zealand. Now, I want to just remind everybody of the Wairau massacre that occurred in 1843, that I'm here to tell you that in 1843, 3 days before the Wairau massacre, Queen Victoria made the people of the St. Pauli ship subjects under the protections of the Bill of Rights 1688. And Te Raupara and his cronies, who were given a boat by Joseph Toms, and those caves, and those, not the Boyces, those caves and some other people down there that lined up the shores of Wairau, the Wairau River. They lined the shores with axes, long-handled and short-handled, and where they slaughtered 22 people to stop the ratification of the hereditaments that were given to those people by the native chiefs that were the original chiefs of the area. I believe perhaps the Ngāti Apa tribe. I'm still learning a lot about these tribes. And so if this is not set right, you've got an incredible opportunity to set this right. If anybody harms me or hurts me, if this is not set right, it's just going to keep coming back. God will send. He's going to just keep on sending floods, earthquakes. He will never, ever let that country prosper until you set right what you've done and set the people free. So do the right thing. Let us come to the court. Any court will do. Let us come to the court and tell our story, all right? So this treaty principles is a trick. It's a ruse to get the Pākehā, who have got ancient documents according to the port that they left, according to the port that they arrived at, and according to the native chief who gave them their hereditaments. and according to the agreements of the cessation that they made. And I will tell you that those ships were not ships that went via Australia. Those ships came direct port to port. So there's the port of Gravesend over in England there or somewhere, and that did port to port to a port in New Zealand. There's the port of Hamburg, and that came directly to Massacre Bay, where there was an original massacre that occurred with Abel Tasman, and another massacre occurred on the 17th of June 1843. So there's that port. There's very few people on these ships, and those ships were port to port. They did not, if the ship went via Australia, then it was not a ship that had native to native hereditaments. So that these ships went port of native Hanseatic state, independent state of Hamburg, to a Hanseatic state or an independent state of Wairau, or, there's other places as well. But the time is here now to set things right with the Pākehā. And there's not many of us left with the knowledge to allow you to do this. This is the golden opportunity to let the people go and begin your new lives that you want to have. And those who choose to stay, well, they'll choose to stay. They can stay. They can stay and be under your tikanga governance if they want to. And those that choose to leave have to be able to leave, and they have to be allowed to leave alive and not harmed, with all of their digits, their 10 fingers and their 10 toes and their 2 eyes and their ears. We don't want any of those chopped off. So it's got to be done. Be the man. Don't be the girl. Be a man and face up to your responsibilities. Kate Floss signing out. Sign up with a smile. I come in peace. I come in friendly. I'm friend, not foe. I just want to be released. And my father's bones returned to Germany, just like we returned all your bones. I want to keep my ears and my eyes. I want to keep my fingers and my toes that I can't show you. And keep everything. And I don't want your threats either. I'm sick of them. Because my sons will come. And theirs and theirs and theirs and theirs. So there.